my God, you have to go to the triathlon. And I just couldn't make it. And that was just the bottom line. I just couldn't do it. And I chose just that I had to get what I had to get done. And there's so many other activities that I engage with my son all the time. So it almost just like killed it right away. But it was just like that feeling like, oh, whatever, I missed out. And you were talking about the husband. I know my husband, he's huge when it comes to Halloween. I mean, the man used to build carnival. He used to build
the haunted houses
in front of his house.
Oh my God.
Just for fun. And people from, this was in Texas, people who would drive an hour away just to make it to his house for Halloween or whatnot. It was a really big production set, and this was when he was in high school. So for him, Halloween also was like that bonding moment too that he spent with his dad. Long story short, my son's elementary school had a Halloween carnival, and we forgot the costume, so he came to drop it off, but he had to run back to the office since he had to finish, whatever it is that he was working on that day. But he really had to finish before coming back and to play or whatever. But he did feel guilty that he was missing out, that he couldn't be at the carnival, and especially that it was revolving around the theme that he really appreciated. So Stella just made a very good point. What is the underlying issue that's causing all that guilt?
Right.
And really honing in on that root cause of what's bringing that up. And I just know that there's other ways to just compensate for it in a way that, just going into another point of view is I am so involved in different ways, so that if I miss out just on that one thing, I'm at peace with it. And that's just something I can relate to.
I'm really glad that you're bringing that up, Valeska, because that's actually the next topic that I wanted to discuss is do we compensate for the times that were missed? And do we sometimes even overcompensate for the special activities that we've missed or the special milestones in our children's life because we've missed it, because unfortunately work has had to come before them. So I'm interested in hearing with the triathlon how you were able to first explain it to your son, and what kind of conversation did you have with him? And because you said you were at peace, so perhaps our audience can learn from the way that you were able to handle that situation.
His father was there. Actually, his dad misses out more on the activities than myself. There's times that he's like, "Mom, I'm always with you," So it was okay that his dad was able to be there and cheer him on. And my mother-in-law was there, and he recorded it so that I could see it. But at the same, I had to say because I just remembered he didn't record the whole thing, but that's okay. I was like, babe, where's my recording?
So that's how you compensated, Valeska, is that you made sure that not only your husband was there, but there was somebody else from the family, and that it was recorded so that then you could share in that special time in a different way, right?
Exactly. I think also it's sometimes, even though you're keeping score, you don't want to let anybody know you're keeping score if you've missed out on something.
Yep.
I remember my son I'm not as far into this game as you guys are because Mason's 13 months old. Mm-hmm. But he's, and I'm predominantly with him during the day because a lot of my work is at night when he's sleeping. But I remember going out to a business meeting one day, and my husband and my sister sent me a video of his real first steps, Wow. And there's that, I got to see it a few minutes later, but there's that little pang of, oh, I wasn't there. Oh. But I'm good at talking myself off the cliff, I've got good at this now over the years. Mm-hmm. And, I just remember things like, wait a minute, I'm the one who discovered his teeth, the first tooth at 14 weeks. Mm-hmm. It's things like that. There's going to be lots of milestones. There's going to be lots of activities. But I think, again, without being cliche, it's about being true to yourself. Mm-hmm. And, if you can find the happiness in what you're doing when you're doing it, then I think that alleviates some of that guilt. If you're really enjoying... I sort of feel conflicted about the words quality time, right. Quality time. But I think it's that if you can, for example, maybe really switch off, especially as mom entrepreneurs, you're always on the clock. But if you can switch off at certain times and instill boundaries and say, this is my family time, mm-hmm. and this is my work time, then I think that would help alleviate some of the guilt.
And I think you also bring up a good point, Stella, about putting things in perspective. And that's again another tip that I give in on my website is to put things in perspective. You know, at the end of the day, you're not, at least the people that I know, are not involved in some cutting edge technology to cure cancer. Right? If that was what you were doing, then I would say absolutely miss every single amazing milestone in your children's life, because you are going to really make a difference in this world. But, you know, like I always tell my husband now, and he's like, I can't believe you've changed your perception on this. I'm like, I'm just running a marketing company. I'm just empowering women to have it all. That's all I'm doing. And so once you kind of put it in perspective, like you said, well, you know, fine, you know, you guys got to see his first steps, but I got to see his first tooth, so we're even Steven, you know? It kind of just makes us feel better. And again, it's about putting things in perspective, that at the end of the day, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
What about, and again, I know that your, Stella, yours is a lot smaller, and Valeska, you're probably going to start to hear this. I unfortunately have been hearing this for a couple years now, which is, Mommy, why do you always work?
I have the answer to that, because for me, even though I'm not there yet, I mean, he's babbling and he's making himself known, but he's not really talking yet. But when he does ask me, hopefully it won't be, why are you always working? Because then I would have to assess that situation. Right. If he really feels I am always working, then I'm going to have to figure out, am I always working? Is he missing out? But I'm going to have no problems, and I'm laughing about this before we get to it, I'm going to have no problems telling him how I am a working mom, whether it's from home or out of home, because Mason was conceived via IVF. And IVF cost a boatload of money, okay? So all joking apart, you know, money does come into this. I'm a working mom because I want to be a working mom, and I'm a working mom because our family has needs that cannot be met at this time off one income.
But how do you explain that to a 6-year-old, Stella?
That's a good point. But I think I'd, if I was really putting the money into play, I wouldn't want to put the burden on the shoulders of a 6-year-old about how the bills are getting paid. Right. You know? But, you know, trips, you know, I know, for example, with you, Lula, you just had a wonderful trip at Thanksgiving to Disneyland, Disney World. You know, that costs money. You know, it's working hard to pay for the things that we want to do. Like, you know, your child working for his allowance to save up, you know, for his next little Xbox car. You know?
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, Stella, because I actually did pull both my 2 boys aside. I forget at what park we were at. It was, we were in the Star Wars area, which both my boys are very into Star Wars, which I think that you can learn so many wonderful life lessons from that series. I always thought that it was a big sci-fi joke. And my husband forced me to watch it with my boys last Christmas holiday, and I'm so glad we watched 1 through 6 straight. And I highly recommend that to all the moms of boys out there. But at any rate, they both for about 3 years have been asking us for the lightsabers, which are the swords that they all play with. And those lightsabers are $30 each. And so my 8-year-old come and said, Mommy, thank you so much. This is awesome. And my 6-year-old is like, yeah, this is so cool. And I pulled him aside and I said, and you know why you're getting this? Because Mommy works. And Mommy works and Daddy, because I don't, Daddy. We work to be able to give you these things. And a lot of times I catch myself wondering, is the conversation too much about material things? Because it's not necessarily the lightsaber for me, it's the memory, right? Yeah. It's the memories that I'm creating. It's, you know, the 4 of us were with 15 other family members in one house for 4 days. What a lovely Thanksgiving. And my parents celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary, you know, so, and I think that that's important too, is that we have to kind of be careful that we're talking the material conversation of the great family vacations and the great school, the great private school that you go to, and the boating and all of that, but it's more about the memories and the time that we have as a family because we work. Does that make sense?